Welcome to our channel. In the last session, we discussed the grid layout with some properties. What are the properties we discussed? Display property, grid template column, grid template rows, and the gaps, column gap, row gap, and the shorthand property gap. And after that, how to give the row lines, column lines. For that, grid column start, grid column end, grid row start, grid row end. For this, grid row is the shorthand property. For this, grid column is the shorthand property. These are the things we discussed in the last session. Now, in this session, we are moving into another property, that is grid area property. What is this grid area property? Mainly, this property specifies the grid item size and location in the layout. In the layout, simply it gives the starting and ending of the rows and columns. And the most important thing, so anyway, these are separate properties are available. Additionally, the main theme of grid area property is to assign a name to the grid item. Once we given a name to the grid items, these names can be referenced by another property, grid template areas. Okay, that means we are using these two properties. Now, what is the syntax? Grid area, row start, slash column start, slash grid row end, grid column end, followed by optional. This one specifies optional item name. Now, once I complete that one, we are moving to the next property. Now, previously this is thing. So this is my previous example. What we discussed on container is there. Within the container, display is grid template column. Suppose I am creating 4 columns. I given the gap is 10 pixel. I am not changing any properties of container. Suppose this is the property of items. Now, in item 1, I given grid area. Now, 2. What is the meaning of 2? Row start. The meaning of 2 is the first two syntax, grid row start slash grid column start. First row start slash column start. So gaps are not at all required. Followed by grid row end. Suppose I want to end on 2. That means spanning of 2 rows slash suppose span 3, spanning of 3 columns, spanning of 3 columns. Assume I am placing some 7 items. Okay, just I am using grid area. Now go to the browser. This is the previous session browser. Now refresh and observe what I given. My row start is equal to 2. Coming to the example, starting at row 2 and spanning of 2 rows. See, starting at row 2 and 2 rows are spanned. Right. Column number 1 and spanning of 3 columns. See, this is column number 1, 1, 2, 3. So here I am spanning 3 columns. I am spanning 3 columns. This is grid area. So previously grid column, grid row, instead of writing each and every one separately, I am using this single one. Single one gives the entire details. Okay. Now move to grid template area. This property specifies the areas within the grid layout. Suppose see this one, grid template areas colon. What is the meaning of this one? one grid layout is created. 1, 2, 3. So 3 rows are created. This is header. Here, header is there. In the second column, header is there. In the third column, header is there. In the second row, the first column is sidebar. Here, content. Third row, footer. Now, whatever the properties applied to header, all those properties are applied here. That means this grid template area, the main purpose of this one is apply the property to each and every specific area. For understanding, I will consider one example. Okay, then you will get some idea. See this one. So use the same container. Now, what I am doing, say some item number one. Take some item. Assume the property is, not assume, the name of the property is grid area. Give one name. The name is header. Semicolon. Clear? Item 1, that is what whoever uses the selector item 1, that area we are identify by using the name header. Now similarly, write down one more item 2, same grid area, give some value. Suppose give a value of menu. The names are your wish. That is not an important. Item 3, grid area. Suppose I am given the name as some main. Now dot item 4, grid area colon some right I given. Write down one more item 5, grid area colon footer. Now observe, 5 selectors are created. Now move to the container. So here the container is grid container. Anyway, I am removing this one. Here, write down grid template areas. Grid template areas. How many number of rows or columns you want? Write down each and every one. Here, header, 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 4, 5, like this. Suppose I want 6 columns. So each and every column, the value I given is header. All are same columns. So meaning is simply all those are merged. Suppose coming to the second row. In the second row, the first column I given menu. Suppose second column main, third column main, fourth column main, fifth column right, whatever it is, that is not a constraint. You can give any names. At that position, the value is updated. Suppose move to another one. Suppose menu, footer, footer, footer. So 4 are completed, footer 5 and semicolon. Here I am given the gap. Suppose, I think you know that one. Grid gap or directly you can give gap. Shorthand notation, not a problem. Grid gap 10 pixel, background color is there and padding is complete. And I am not changing anything. Now here the background color I given, text align given, padding is given, everything is given. This item 1 is not at all required. Now, what I am doing here, div class is equal to container, the same procedure, div class is equal to container, here class item 1. So item 1, I want to place header. Remember, this name and this name no need to match. What are the thing? Whatever the properties of item 1, these are applied here. Item space item 2. Here I am given some menu. Item space item 3. What I given? Main I given. Item space item 4. Some right. Item space item 5. Footer. Now save. Go to the browser. Observe what happened here. See this one carefully. 3 rows are created. Yes, 1, 2, 3 rows are created. The entire first row headers given. Entire first row headers is given. See this one. The entire first row all are header. That is the reason this is merged. For example, here remember instead of header, student name, student data, save. The entire thing, this is student data. Suppose here, first menu, main. Three mains are merged. Three mains are merged. That is, 3 columns are merged. 2 columns are merged to right. 1 column is menu. Here menu is there. So 2 rows are spanned. That means if you want to create a structure like this, you are using grid template area. Again, for each and everything, if you want, you can apply the additional properties also. You can apply the additional. Here by default, the properties are taken. Suppose I am not using grid template area, no problem. What you are taking, suppose dot header, give some properties, dot side, give some property, dot menu, give some property, and wherever you want, you can apply this property. This is grid template area. Along with, you have another properties also there. What are the properties? Alignment property. So align, grid align. So whatever the properties you used in the flex layouts, apply all those properties here also. This is grid layout. Thank you.